Hi everyone, it's Emily, and today I'll be talking about all the games that I picked up in the month of August. So my goal for last month was to pick up a lot of the 3DS titles that I wanted to grab before prices started rising. And I think there's still a bit of a misconception about how adding funds to the 3DS eShop works after August. So if you do have a Nintendo Switch, you should still be able to link it up to your Nintendo Network ID, which is what they use for the 3DS eShop. So that way you're still able to add funds to either the Wii U or 3DS eShop via your Switch. Down in the description, I'll put a link to the official Nintendo page of how to link up your accounts if you haven't done so already. So yeah, after I learned that that was still a viable option until the eShop officially closes down in March, I wasn't so gung-ho buying up a bunch of 3DS games that I was still missing. So instead I really just focused on the titles that I thought would probably see price increases within the next couple of months. So I try to prioritize those titles over some of the other titles that I think are still somewhat obtainable. But I'll share the 4 3DS games that I picked up towards the end of this video. Instead, I'll first share the 2 Switch games I picked up last month. First, I've already talked about, which is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I've already uploaded a dedicated video on this game, just mostly talking about my thoughts and feelings after the first 50 hours of my playthrough. Now I've roughly hit around the 90-hour mark, and I think I'm very close to finishing the main storyline, and I've done a ton of the side quests. So that really just occupied my time last month before I went on a work trip. So I will say that my overall thoughts and impressions of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 remain basically the same as what I mentioned in my first impressions video. Though I am reaching the point in the main storyline where things start to get more interesting. And I also wanted to mention that there are references to the previous 2 games, mostly just some characters that make an appearance. And while you still don't necessarily need to play the first 2 games to enjoy Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I will say that it is a lot more fulfilling having that prior knowledge kind of going into Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So I still recommend playing those 2 games before getting to Xenoblade Chronicles 3. But yeah, overall, I'm really happy with my time in Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and I'm really hoping that I'll be able to finish this game actually this weekend. That's sort of my aim, so that I can start to play some of the other games that I put on the backlog a bit. Okay, so the other Switch game that I picked up last month was this Otome novel, and as you see here, I did get it from GameStop. I got this on sale, and they just sent me an open case. Luckily, the first press card set is still inside, so there's that at least. But yeah, I'm not going to attempt to say this because I'm sure I will butcher it. Agents of Sakura Otome, perhaps? But yeah, don't take my word, that's how you say that. This is again an Otome visual novel, and I do try to pick up all the visual novels I can on the Switch. And I've heard mixed things about this one in particular, but I really like the premise and the artwork, so I'm hoping that I'll still enjoy it. The main protagonist is someone who could see spirits or ghosts, and she gets recruited into the secret government agency, and apparently she's kind of there to help these different spirits travel between worlds. So the premise sounds interesting, and I've been in the mood for another Otome novel. So I'm planning to probably start one sometime this month. I haven't decided which one yet. So those were the 2 Switch games. I also picked up a PS4 game. That is the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. So this contains all 3 of the Mass Effect games, and I've heard nothing but good things about this sort of sci-fi adventure from BioWare. One of my very good friends is obsessed with BioWare games, both the Dragon Age games as well as Mass Effect. And these are very narrative-driven games with different character choices and interactions. And it just sounds like a really fun experience. And I really like sci-fi adventures, so I'm really looking forward to getting around to this eventually. I think for the past month or so, this has been on sale for like $20. I ended up picking this up at GameStop along with this Otome novel for a good price, and I had some pro credits I wanted to use up. But yeah, I haven't been picking up a ton of PS4 games, even though really I think now is the best time to probably start collecting for the PS4. Mostly because it's been very inconvenient for me to play on the PS4 Pro at this time, mostly just because of where the game console is situated, and I don't live alone, so it's really hard to find time to actually use it. in sort of the comment room. So I'm not sure if it'll be this month, but I think sometime soon I really should be ramping up more on my PS4 collecting, because as I mentioned, I think this is really the time to start picking up a lot of these PS4 games on the cheap. And while this may get a PS5 remaster someday, I don't really see it improving that much. We've been seeing this, I guess, with The Last of Us Part 1. While the PS5 upgrade does sound nice, in reality, is it really worth paying the premium price to get the upgrade version? So yeah, that's sort of how I've been trying to navigate the PS4, PS5 collecting recently. Most of my energy should probably be spent picking up the PS4 titles I really want to get. All right, so finally for the 3DS titles, I ended up picking up 2 brand new games and then 2 used games. The 2 brand new games I picked up on Amazon, and I basically kind of justified those prices to myself after using some gift cards to lessen the price. So that's the story on those. So the first one I got was Dragon Quest VII. And so this has the nice Y-fold seal, which I think most of the Square Enix Nintendo games all had. But yeah, I've been trying to pick up all the Dragon Quest games I can because of how much I enjoy Dragon Quest XI. And I also have Dragon Quest VIII that is very high up on my priority list of games I want to finally get to. I heard that this one is very long. It takes over 100 hours to get through. I don't know when I'll get to this one, but there's a certain charm about these Dragon Quest games that just feel very old school, but in a kind of cozy way. I know Square Enix has been doing a lot of the HD 2D remasters for a lot of their earlier titles, so I am curious if we'll eventually get most of the Dragon Quest games sort of in that style. I know that they're supposedly working on Dragon Quest III in that style, I want to say. So I have no idea if they'll actually give the same treatment to Dragon Quest VII someday, but it seems like the 3DS version right now is the way to go for this game. So whenever I'm in the mood to just play a classic JRPG, I'll probably try to give this one a go after I complete Dragon Quest VIII. That one is definitely my high priority when it comes to the Dragon Quest games. And so the other new 3DS title that I picked up was Etrian Odyssey Untold, the Millennium Girl. So this is a remaster of the original DS title, and I believe what they did for the Untold games for both 1 and 2, they just injected a bit more story to go with the original kind of dungeon crawling gameplay that the Etrian Odyssey games are known for. So this is, I believe, the 4th Etrian Odyssey game I have now. I have this one, the second one, 4 and 5 on the 3DS. So I'm just missing the last one, Etrian Odyssey Nexus. So one of the reasons why I've been diligently trying to get all of the Etrian Odyssey titles is because of the unique gameplay with the first-person dungeon crawler paired with the map making that you really need the dual screens for, in my opinion. So I've yet to actually play a first-person dungeon crawler, and I've been told that the 4th Etrian Odyssey game is probably a really good place to start. So I'm eventually going to actually play these games instead of just buying them. So I'm really looking forward to that and eventually getting into this one and sort of see how the first one, even with the remastered form, differs from the later versions that I'll probably end up playing first. And I'm not sure if you could really tell, but this actually does not have a Y-fold seal. I've talked about this in some past videos that a lot of the third-party publishers, when they do reprints, they have them in using the Y-fold machines. So you just get the regular saran wrap thing. This seal is actually not as bad as some of the ones I've seen, especially from Atlas. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out because if you do get a lot of the reprints, especially from Atlas or some of the other third-party publishers, don't be alarmed. You're not being scammed by whatever seller you bought through. This is apparently just how the third-party publishers have been sending out all the reprints as of late. All right, these last 2 3DS games that I got used are games that I haven't really talked about much on this channel. They were featured in my spreadsheet in the video where I shared my updated 3DS collection and how I organize all of my spreadsheets and whatnot. However, I didn't really talk about these 2 games, mostly because at the time I thought they were going to be out of my price range. But thankfully I found both of these used. I think one was on Mercari and the other one was on eBay. And they are the Project Xzone games, so Project Xzone 1 and Project Xzone 2. Now, both of these weren't exactly cheap, however, I think I was able to get them for pretty good deals and a little bit less than what I've been seeing them listed for recently. And one of the main reasons why I wanted to get physical copies of these is because Bandai Namco actually pulled them from the eShop, so you're not actually able to get them digitally anymore. So I think that's mostly the reason why you've been seeing higher prices for these, especially within the last few months. And I think they'll just continue to rise. These are real-time strategy games, which I really enjoy. And I do try to pick up all the strategy type games, especially on the 3DS. And both of these are just really unique because of the array of different characters or franchises you have mashed together. So they should be, I think, a lot of fun to play, especially as I get more into a few of these franchises, such as Ace Attorney, the Tales of games, and just so many more. So those were all the games that I picked up last month. And for September, I have a few different titles I have in mind of picking up. One that's on the way, which is a new release, and one that I'm hoping to play sometime soon before Trails from Zero comes out. And I, of course, pre-ordered Trails from Zero. I ended up getting the collector's edition for the PS4, and I'm a little bit silly, but I think I'm gonna actually also try to pick up the Switch standard edition on release day. So that I could play it that way. So I feel a little bit silly buying both editions, especially around launch. However, I guess how I'm justifying it is I have all the collector's editions on the PS4, and so they all do come with steelbooks. So it'd be nice to have all the steelbooks the same size. But yeah, that's it for my pickup video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what some of your favorite pickups were from August. And again, I'll be skipping the monthly wrap-up video where I talk about the games I played within the last month. And I'm just doing that because I mostly just played Xenoblade and a 3DS game that I'll be talking about sometime soon in a collaboration video. And until my next video, bye guys.